big long one for this particular channel. But motherfuckers at UPS are so lazy that they can't show up for work or they're on vacation. Most of them are just lazy. They pick and choose what days they want to work. But usually I do the package handling for UPS. But lately I've been doing the walk-in of the bulk, which is heavier items like this, and you can see that here. So on the left here, this you see this long ass roller. It's actually longer than this, but I couldn't take a whole picture of it. But so to the left here is the roller that the heavier bulk stuff comes on. The bulk stuff can be anywhere between 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds, if not 100. Um, Now the bulk items are not supposed to go down into the truck rollers, like the rollers that lead into the trucks. They're supposed to be separated from the lighter stuff. Sometimes you'll get a mixture of both, especially in the truck. Anything that's like 70, 80 pounds is not supposed to come down the roller in the truck, but sometimes you'll see it come down in there. Now this on the right hand side is is where you put your bulk at if it's going to go into the truck. There and usually there's like a label on the box that tells you what dock like what the truck door it goes to. That's another thing. It's like you got to pay attention to that. And they'll all be listed like door. They'll be listed as like door 8, like door 813, door 814, door 815, stuff like that. So, but I've been learning, and you'll start gaining muscles like today. Um, I got my hours today. I got like 5.5 hours, and stuff like that. So I got my money's worth today for 5.5. And if you're a part-time worker at UPS, anything more than 5 hours is considered time and a half. If you're a part-time worker, um, so I started college this week, which is not bad. I'm actually glad that I'm learning something. Um, so on Monday, I actually showed up to one of the classes I was supposed to be taking, and the class was canceled due to the fact of low enrollment. Meaning, unless the class has more than 5 students, they will not teach the class unless it has 5 students or more. Um, so that class was supposed to be Monday, Wednesday, and they dropped it because there was not 5 students in the classroom. Um, so then Tuesday, I showed up to work. I showed up. Yeah, I just showed up to work at UPS, and then I went to the college, not knowing that I actually grabbed the wrong paperwork that I had. And so I accidentally grabbed the electronic stuff paperwork instead of the fluid power class, and um, I missed my first class Tuesday, not knowing that what class I was supposed to be in. So I was talking to the professor that teaches the fluid power class, and I said, "Well, I don't know what class I'm supposed to be in or what I'm supposed to be taking," and so I got he calls me Wednesday and says that you did miss your class. He's like so he calls me on the phone Wednesday and says that your class for fluid power started. Well, actually, he's like your one class did start, and I'm like, which class? He said fluid power. I missed it on Tuesday, not knowing that I was supposed to be in that class. So I ended up going Thursday and actually learned a lot, and it's actually pretty fun. I got my first. There's two different textbooks I'm gonna need. I got my first one, but there's gonna be a second one I'm gonna need within the next month or so. Of course, we have our lab partners. So hold on here. Oh shit, I'm getting old. So these are a lot different from what I remember seeing when I was younger, because these textbooks are a lot different. Um, so my textbook looks like this. Where it says laps 1 through 4. This is basic pneumatics. I do have a test on Tuesday, so this weekend I'm gonna have to actually study this book. Um, so I'll show you some of the stuff I learned already from Tuesday. Or actually from Thursday. My lab partner is a girl named Zaina. She is Muslim, but like for me, I don't care whether they're Muslim or not. For me, she was a very nice person. She was very helpful and walking me through the first 3 steps that I missed on Tuesday because I forgot that. So this is one of the things we learned how to read a pressure gauge. Um, Pretty interesting to learn that. This is what we worked on yesterday when I was there. This is a pneumatic pressure gauge. We learned how to read this and hook it up. Um, Depending on what type of pressure gauge you have, they have to read between 20 and 60. Um, we learned how to read these, like different symbols. Um, like I said, this was all pretty interesting yesterday. But there's going to be more to learn. We learned how to hook these up. And this is all part of learning how to be a plant engineer at UPS. They tried to get me to buy both books yesterday when I went there, but I only needed one. The just for both books, it would have been $70, so I brought one. That was $35. The college I picked out Moraine Valley, which is in the wood, which is kind of like in the woods because there's nothing around it for miles. Basically, they have two coffee shops and a restaurant on their campus. They got one inside the gym, and so they got like a little coffee shop restaurant inside the gym. They also got one inside the bookstore, but it's on the second floor. Um, Also, there's a also when you walk in on the first floor on the lower floor where the bookstore is, there's like actually no, there's one inside the library, but I've never walked inside the library for the college, so I'm like I haven't looked there yet. I don't know what's all there, but inside the bookstore, um, there's apparel that you can buy. Like you can buy like clothing from Moraine Valley to show your support for the college that you're attending. They got coffee mugs that have the Moraine Valley logo, like the logo for Moraine Valley. I think I think their mascot is a cyclone. I think that's what it is because when you go to the gym, it's called the Cyclone Center. So I think it's like Moraine Valley Cyclones. I think it's the actual team name or something like that. Um, so we have that. Um, there's also like an email thing that I'm actually hooked up with for Moraine Valley. So like here on the portal here, this is on Moraine Valley for the student email login. You got your academics, admission, experience, student success, about us. Like I said, they do have apparel for the see, this is like the bookstore. You type in like whatever book you need. These particular books, the teacher told us yesterday, you cannot sell them. They when once you buy them, you keep them. They will not take used one. They will not take the used ones. So you're stuck having them for the rest of your life unless you decide you want to sell them to family if they ever want to go into this type of business. Um, Now I'm looking at the store. Um, I do got my student email. There is a canvassing on here. Um, so like student email, it's gonna ask me for my email and my thing. So if I ever need, and then it's gonna ask me for a text. I'll look at that later. I don't really need to look at the texting thing right now. Okay, I'll cancel that for right now. But yeah, but I actually had fun um, learning all this different stuff. Um, so like when it comes to Moraine Valley, and if you're gonna become a plant engineer, there's like 11 classes you gotta take. It's a long list. It might take me a while. So with the certificate, if I choose to do the certificate, it's 32 credits. But if I choose to do the degree, it's 60. And I think you could go a lot farther with a degree than you could a certificate. So I might talk to somebody. I might talk to somebody at UPS and tell them I want to do the degree and not the certificate, so I can actually get more money out of it. Um, so I might try to do that. Um, to be a to be forewarned, when it comes to when it comes to the college, the little coffee shop there is expensive because there's no restaurants around, and they know that you're not going to drive to another area to try to find coffee. and their coffee is just as expensive as Starbucks at the school. Um, just to get a small cup of coffee at the bookstore and at the gym, it was $8 for a small cup of coffee. I'm like, damn. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, for one, if you're gonna give me a cup, like a small cup that's $8 worth of coffee, it better be worth my while and it better be good. And not to say that the coffee wasn't bad, I just felt that it's not $8 worth, especially at the school. Um, they do got their cafeteria there, which I love. Um, and and especially when it comes to the summertime, it's gonna start looking nice. Um, this is the college right here I go to. I gotta zoom in. They're not bad. Yes, I'm gonna be a plant engineer for UPS once I complete my courses for college. Let's see here. I'm looking at the images for the school. The women weren't bad looking, but this is the college I'm going to. That's one of the buildings. That's the registration building. Then you got, and it's more money to do. It's more money to do to do the plant engineering than it is for than to be a package handler for UPS. So this is the layout. Not yet. This is a community college, so I couldn't tell you if they do any parties, but they do have a lot of activities for people that no, I haven't done any keg stand stuff. Um, but I haven't done any of. I haven't really attended any parties or anything like that. But they do have a lot of activities to keep everybody in the loop and everything. Like you know how like they got like they have a Dungeons and Dragons thing, which I never got into that at the school. They do have sporting activities, book clubs, stuff like that at the college. Um, Now this one is not like a university where they have the dorms and everything. This is actually you go in, you have your class, and then you go home afterwards. Um, the classes run for 4 hours out of the day. Um, but I missed my first class Tuesday because I didn't know I was supposed to be in the class I was supposed to be in on Tuesday. So I ended up leaving and didn't know I had missed a class. So the teacher called me on Tuesday asking me. He called me yesterday and asked me to, or Wednesday. Was it one? No, it was Wednesday. He called me Wednesday because I talked to him on the phone, and he said you missed her. I'm like, oh, which one? And he's like, oh, the plant. Um, the class I'm taking is this one. This is the class I missed on Tuesday. Um, I'm not really into art. Um, but art class is not entailed in learning how to do plant engineering. Um, but this right here is a little pamphlet that tells you all the classes that are required to do plant engineering. Okay, so you got electricity and electronics. That class was canceled due to the fact um, electricity and electronics was canceled due to the fact if there's not 5 people in the if there's not 5 people in the class, they will drop it. I probably could, but I don't think it's required for plant engineering either. Electricity and electronics, industrial controls, advanced industrial controls, introduction to PLCs, mechanical systems 1 and 2, fluid power 1 and 2, arc welding 1 and 2, and machinery moving and setup. And those are the classes that are required for plant engineering. I probably could, but I don't know. So we did have sad news in the world of acting. We did have Wings Hauser died. I was gonna bring that up for real quick. And some of my roommates that I stayed with didn't know who Wings Hauser was, but I knew who he was. Um, and Yeah, but arc welding is actually one of the classes I gotta take to become a plant engineer at UPS. So as long as I can pass it. And welders make good money, so that's one of the reasons why I want to do this, because it's like it will bring me more money. And when I was talking to the lady that hooked me up with some of the classes for UPS, she says, no, I did not, but I did bring him up in one of my live stream videos where I did bring up his death. Um, but I didn't put up like an individual video on him. But let's see, Gene Hackman died, and also his wife died. It was him and his wife that both died, but they died within like a week or two of each other. For anybody that watches baseball, CC Sabathia just got elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And he earned it because he did pretty good pitching throughout his career. So CC Sabathia is one of the guys that got elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. I don't know how many others. There was also some Harlem Globetrotter guy that died too. The guy from the Harlem Globetrotters, and he was actually listed as one of the tallest players to play. Now, God, I gotta look at this one guy that played basketball for the Harlem Globetrotters. Now I'm drawing a blank on his name. But there was a guy that played for the Harlem Globetrotters, and he was listed as the tallest player to play for them. And I used to watch the Harlem Globetrotters too when I was younger. But I used to be entertained by all their games, and I saw them on TV. What is his name? I know it's in here somewhere. Oh, George Bell. Now George Bell was a basketball player for the Harlem Globetrotters. And he was also featured on a few different TV shows, but he was listed as one of the tallest men in the United States, and also being one of the tallest people to play. He was the tallest sheriff, and basically in record, and also one of the tallest players to play basketball that wasn't in the NBA. He was 7'8". Now here's a picture of him. This is George Bell. The only George Bell I know is the baseball player that played for the Cubs and the Sox, and just didn't really do well at all. He was in a couple different TV shows. The only other person taller than this guy would have been Robert Wadlow, who was the tallest man in the world at 8'11". I just don't think I can never picture myself being that tall. That was too tall for me. Basically, because you got to duck under everything, and basically it takes a beating on your body to be that tall. Then I got my coffee, from Dunkin' Donuts. I love my coffee. But I do got to cut back a little bit. And because I don't have a car and I don't have a license, I take the bus to and from work, which actually helps me out a little bit, because taking the bus to UPS and back home is free for me. Who knows? Robert Wadlow or the guy George Bell? So it's free for me to take the bus to UPS and back, but I have to pay if I take it to the college. And to take it to the college, it's like $2. Who knows? But it says he was only 67. Usually, if you're that tall, your condition is called giantism. But basically, it's when your growth hormone secretion he did have to take medicine for the rest of his life. But when he was about when he was 20-something years old, he had already reached over 7 foot. Yeah, I heard about that too. There's no guarantee that he would have had a big one. It doesn't mean he didn't have a big one, but there's no guarantee that he would. But sometimes you're like just enamored with people that are like that tall height wise, but it's like it's got its good advantage and it's got its bad advantage. The good advantage is you don't have to constantly ask people to help you reach stuff that's out of your reach, um, and stuff like that. But the other bad thing is that it takes a beating and this hole in your body for being that tall. No, I have not. Um, but I actually stayed longer today, so I got my 5.5 hours in at UPS, and because anything over 5 hours if you're working at UPS is time and a half. So because I worked 5.5 hours today, I get 30 something dollars for reaching over five. Once I go over 5 hours, and my pay becomes 31.50 or something like that an hour. Um, so I got that. But what I'm waiting for is when they start doing Sundays again during peak season, and then I start getting double time, especially like with the holidays. Um, During peak season, you have the option of working Saturday and Sunday, or you could just do one of the days and not do both. I like to do both because that brings me in more money. Some people just do the Sunday because it's double time, and it's and only on Saturday it's just time and a half. Um, so some people just work the Sunday during peak season and not the Saturday because they want that double time pay. Um, and who wouldn't want to take 43 an hour or something like that, or 42 an hour for double time? Like for me, like my double time pay is 42 or something, like 42 something an hour. When I come in on a holiday or I work on Sundays, my pay is like 42 an hour. So who wouldn't want that? For the especially on a Sunday or like any holiday that we get. And that extra money does come in handy when you got to pay bills. So that's one of the reasons why I stayed a little bit longer today, because I'm gonna need that money to get me to and from school, and to pay for like any additional things I might need. Um, eventually I will need to get a student ID for the school, but I'm not able to get one right now because I forgot that my permit that I had for Indiana expired, and so that ID slash permit is tied to Indiana. But now because I'm living in Illinois, I got to get an Illinois permit and an Illinois ID. Um, Now the difference between the Illinois how Illinois did it and how Indiana did it was you could actually go into an Indiana driving place and just go to the printer. It prints out a ticket with a number on it, and you just sit down and wait. Now in Illinois, you got to call in advance and ask them, okay, I need to make an appointment to get like a driver's license or like a state ID, and they can tell you when they're available, and you got to make an appointment to go in advance. I'm like, damn. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, Indiana never did this, but either way. No, I do got to get my taxes done before that because there's only like 3 weeks left. So I got my tax form from UPS, and I got my tax form from Cracker Barrel when I worked there last year. It's like for me, I'm kind of sad to quit Cracker Barrel, but I only quit because my mom died back in October. So I took time off and just didn't go back. Um, so let's see if I can get in to to do my taxes eventually in the next few days or so, because I'm gonna need that money. Um, I think that was right. Oh yeah, yeah, that was right. Yes, I am. I've been with UPS since September of 2024. I'm still there. Um, of course, I can't really quit when I don't have another job lined up, and I can't quit UPS when they're paying for my college courses. Because if I quit and stuff again, then I'm forced to pay all that money that UPS put into my classes, and I just can't afford that right now. Um, as long as I'm actually staying with UPS, as long as I'm doing my college courses, UPS um, will pay me $300 extra a month on top of my regular paycheck with UPS. So I get a paycheck from UPS every Thursday. Oh, I kind of miss it. I tried transferring to the one out here in um in Illinois, and I was not able to transfer because I never got a call back from them. Um, I tried to transfer to the one in Tinley Park, and Tinley Park basically never got back to me. So I don't know what happened with that one. But UPS isn't bad. UPS is more money than Cracker Barrel. I'm not bad math on Cracker Barrel in itself because because Cracker Barrel had some pretty good benefits. I was a Power Four, and with Power Four, you got 75% off your food if you worked past 6. Well, it depends on what state you're living in. Um, there was a news article all over the news stating that there was locations of certain UPSs closing. So depending on what state you're living in, there could be possible closures. And oh yeah, biscuits and gravy are pretty good. I like their maple chicken one thing, and then I also like that other thing that they had put out. Um, the I like the sugar cured ham, and then the other one was the steak, the New York strip steak that they started advertising because they took the sirloin away. Um, I think Ohio might have had some closures. That's probably why you're not seeing anything on that. Um, and I live in I live in Willow Springs, Illinois, and the one I'm at is always hiring people. Um, and also I also get questions on how the pay is. The pay is pretty good if you're getting good hours. So if you can get good hours providing that the management likes how you work. So if you're a package handler like me, and you're loading the trucks, and you're loading the way that it's supposed to be, left to right, starting with heavy, then medium heavy, and then medium, and then light, and you get it all the way to the top like you're supposed to, and the manager sees it and they like that, then they will give you hours. Um, I average about 23 to 25 hours a week, which is pretty much common because UPS does not hire full time right away. Um, you got to put your time in before you can get full time. Um, and I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see here. Okay, so there's a closure in Charlotte, North Carolina. I knew about that one. Um, yeah, I'm not saying if Ohio has any closures, but there are a lot of states that are closing some of their locations due to the fact they weren't getting a lot of business. Like my particular facility is one of the busiest ones, so you're not going to see any shutdown on that one. Um, so we have so UPS is laying off 100 workers at the Charlotte location. Um, then there's a closure in Washington. Um, there was a couple in California. I think there was one in Indiana or two in Indiana. Um, I'm just hoping I don't get laid off because I can't afford to. But we're supposed to get possible transfers and possible new employees because of this shit. And it's gonna bump a lot of people. It's gonna bump seniority people. It's gonna bump a whole bunch of everybody. And it's not gonna look good for a lot of people. Um, but once I find it, I'll tell you where the closures are. Oh yeah, right here. Baltimore, Maryland, Vernon, California, Commerce City, Colorado, Oklahoma City, Portland, Oregon, and then there was another one somewhere because I just saw it. Um, and so that's a few of them. Yeah, but so who knows like how long it's gonna be or how bad it's gonna be at all. So you got that. Yeah. I just like to keep everybody informed of my job and how it's going because there are people that will flock to the UPS videos to see how it's going, and it's actually good to keep in touch and share my experience with UPS. Um, and UPS, I can tell you right now, is not an easy job to get into. They're hard to get into, but here's how I got in. I knew somebody. My friend Angie has been working with UPS for 17 years. She got me into the job. Um, I asked her to send me the info to apply, and so when she did, I put her name down as a reference, and that's how I got in. Also, if you refer somebody to UPS, you get paid $250 for every referral that you put down. So like if you refer somebody and they put down that you referred them, you're supposed to get $250 for every referral, and I think you're only allowed to be like $14,000 in referral money every year um, that you can get paid out or something like that. So I actually keep myself entertained with all that. I haven't referred anybody yet to my location, but if you ever want to come to Hotchkins, Illinois, which is the location I work at, um, and I refer you, then of course the money will actually go up a little bit, and it's actually good for that. We do have our own vending machines, especially at the location I work at. The UPS I work for has their own cafeteria. Um, it's not like one that you could sit down in, but it's like one of those grab and go cafeterias. Um, so from even in the morning, you can get French fries and chicken in the morning from the cafeteria. I'm like that early in the morning, really? When they open up at 4, I'm like, who wants to be eating chicken at 4 in the morning? Even though not to say that chicken's bad, I love chicken, but I just don't know if that would be like something I would want to eat at 4 in the morning. Um, but they got French fries, they got chicken, pizza puffs, um, like they also got tacos, like not like the tacos with the shell, but like the bag of chips that you open up and you put them. It's like a walking taco is what they call it. At least that's the name for it. But I'm like, I don't know how you could call a bag of chips a walking taco. Um, but I have not really been to their cafeteria. But I've been in there once, but I never brought anything. I just wanted somebody to show me where it was at. But because the UPS I work for is such a big building, you're gonna get lost. Um, the UPS I work for, it's the UPS I work for is the length of 38 football fields. Um, so 38 football fields can fit inside UPS. Here I'll show you. Once I get an actual. Ah, crap. Hang on. I'll show you this right here. So this is the UPS in Hodgkins. Um, this is the one I work for, right here at the top. That's what it looks like on the inside. Let's get closer here. That's some of the machinery that's inside the building. Um, and you'll see some of the trucks. And in my area, um, yeah, this is one of the areas too where we now this is on the second floor, where they have the separations like this. I'm not usually up on the second floor. I'm usually on the first. I've only been upstairs a couple times when they did orientation. But other than that, yeah, this is another one. This is like the bulk line where you're separating packages. I don't know how to particularly do that particular part in the aspect of picking off packages and knowing where they go. Now, the one I work for is called a cache because of how big it is. Now, I don't know if every UPS is the same, but in my UPS, you gotta walk through a gate, like a security gate before you get into the building. Now, when it comes to UPS, always try to apply for a cash one, depending on the cash or the bigger facilities, and the cash facilities are the ones that will pay you a little bit more money because of yep. And once I get yeah, the one is called the one I work for is called a cash. It's bigger, and they go through a lot of hires. Let's see if I can find an actual photo of what the building looks like on the outside. Once I can find an actual photo of what the building looks like on the outside, I'll show you. You can also check it on Google Maps too. Yeah, so this is all the photos. Yeah, so here's some of the photos. This is inside one of the buildings, because we got a lot of fancy machines. You also got this, where you're sorting, like, packages through the bags. Now, in the truck, like right here, you can see how the packages are. That's not how it's supposed to be loaded. It's supposed to be loaded left to right, and stacking with large, then medium. So with heavy, medium heavy, medium light, and then light on top, and then getting it all the way to the top. Here's another picture of UPS inside when it's coming with the machines like that. We have those inside my location. UPS's parking lot is so freaking huge that it's a pain in the ass trying to get in and out of the parking lot. And I'm trying to see if yeah, I wouldn't want to drive an hour either. But luckily for me, from where I live at to UPS, it's only a 5 minute drive on the bus. like with the bus taking me there and back. So I never have to go very far. Um, there's gotta be. There's also a FedEx not too far from me either, but I don't know if I want to do FedEx. Um, if I can find a picture telling me where, so like right here, this is part of it outside. Let's see here. Hold on, let me take my phone off the charger here. Um, so this is part of the outside of the building where I work at. Um, but I'm trying to see if I can find a bigger photo. Um, yeah, there's not much I'm finding, but let me see. But like I said, um, um, see, I work for something called a Kosh. The Kosh are the ones that pay more money. That's one of the reasons why I get paid like 20 something an hour just being there. To start off with. Um, but I'm trying to see if I can find the outside of the building. Now you can find it on Google Maps. The outside of the building and what it looks like. Um, and you'll see like a good picture of it. Or sometimes there's a way to rotate the picture too, and I've just never been able to figure that one out. And like I said, you'll keep seeing pictures. Like this is also in one of my outbounds here. For I think that might be outbound 4, but I'm not sure. There's like 11 outbounds in my and stuff like that. But it's just a matter of keeping track of every outbound. Um, there's also a thing called See More Images. Um, so yeah, it's here. This might be it. Let me see. No, it might not be it at all. Yeah, but the one I work for is the length of 38 football fields. If you do not know the area, you will get lost. I did that the first day that I started. I didn't know where I was going. I ended up getting lost and walked into a whole into a completely different outbound because I didn't know where I was going. Um, so, but I did enjoy, but I do enjoy working for UPS. Once in a while, I don't. They are union, so they do take out union dues. Um, they take it out like every week out of your paycheck. When you do orientation, they'll have you sign a sheet um, asking if you want to take union dues out right away. Um, and I just signed up and said, yeah, take them out because that will help them fund their union meetings and all that other stuff. Every 5 years, they renew the contract. Um, the union book that I do have is good up until 2028, and then they're gonna renew um, new renew the union book in 2029, but they'll have the contract starting in 2028. And I think when they renew the new contract, the first one will be like, so I'll get my first raise this August, my second one in next August, and then my third one in 2027, and then 2028, and then in 2029 I'll get my fourth raise. And usually whenever they renew the contract, the first raise will always be the highest when they renew the new one, and that will be $3 or something like that, or 2.75, when they renew the new one. Um, you also have an option week with UPS. You could also take that as a second vacation if you ever choose to, and if you don't take it, then UPS will pay you out because it does not roll over as it should. To me, it should roll over, but it never does. So with the option week, you could either take it and use it as a second vacation, and if you don't take it, they pay you out for not taking it. Um, and the longer you stay, the more vacation days you get. You also have option days. Um, if you don't want to work certain days in the week, you can actually use those option days and pick and choose what days you want off, and the UPS still pays you for it. Um, so I have an option week, but not an option day yet because I haven't really put my time in yet. Um, but there's some people at my UPS that have been there for 30 years, if not longer. I'm like, damn. I'm like, now here's the one thing that annoys me sometimes. We have a guy. I haven't got my first raise yet, but it will but UPS gets a raise every August. So like August 1st, I think, is when they get the new raise. Yeah, it's once a year. I don't know particularly what it is. Let me see if I can find my union book. The union book actually breaks it down for me. Um, oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah. So here's my union book, and the union book actually tells you. Let me see. Put this right here for a minute. Okay. So here, hold on. I gotta look for the raises that are in here, and there's actually a page that tells you when the raises are. Yeah. Damn. Also, UPS has a pension plan and a 401k. The only bad thing about the 401k is that UPS does not contribute to the 401k. It's whatever it's your own money that you're putting in. The UPS does not contribute. But if you want your full 401k and your pension, um, if you want to collect your full 401k and pension, you got to put 25 years plus in at UPS to get the full thing. Um, I know I remember seeing it in here somewhere, but where the fuck did I see it at? Uh, okay, 143. I had to look for the page, but it's 143 according to this. Let me see here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now the difference between a full now UPS does have full timers, in order to be full time you got to be there at least 15 years, if not longer. Um, okay, let's see. Okay, so I think this year it will be 75 cents for a raise. Um, then in 2026 it will be $1. Um, and then by 2027 it'll be $2.25 of a raise. Um, and then there'll be another one in 2028 and 2029. Um, okay, the 275 was in 2023, so they might get that one in 2029 when the new contract kicks in. Um, they also give you a breakdown here of what the top pay is for for package handlers or any um there's not to be considered full time. How this works is it's based on seniority. So what UPS does is you work there starting part time, and then yes, you can go full time, but you gotta put your name on a bid sheet, and you bid with other people to become full time. But they're also gonna take a look at seniority, and whoever has the most seniority will get full time first. Um, but the quickest way to go full time is to bid on positions, um, and they don't look at just at the location I'm at. What UPS will do is that they take a look at every UPS location that's still open, and they look at the seniority of those people there. It's all based on the like every location and doing that. Like my friend Angie has been there for 17 years, but she is not full time. She's part time, but she's repeatedly put her name on the bid list for full time. I think the last time she said she was at 139, so she was coming up pretty close to be full time. Um, full timers get about 40 to 45 hours a week, and they work 2 shifts, so it's not just one shift. So um, usually um, I work sunrise. That means I work at 4 in the morning until like 9 or 10. I could go longer, but because I started college, um, I don't work that long on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I gotta catch my bus and make sure that I catch the right bus to get to work, and to get to the school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and stuff like that. Um, so there's that. But I actually enjoy the job. But like I said, once I get my certificate or degree for the plant engineering, I don't have to necessarily use it at UPS. I can take that anywhere. I can take it to FedEx, Amazon, any other packaging place that's around. Um, even those food processing plants, whenever their machines break down, you can take that plant engineering degree and use it there. So I don't necessarily have to use it at UPS. But I just like UPS because it's got good benefits. And this is what your badge will look like. So when you get hired in, they will give you a badge with your name. This is the one I work for. So there's it like this. It's like a UPS badge that has your number on it. Well, actually, your hiring date and your sunrise shift and your name. I'm 36. I'm 36. So, but but you'll have a security checkpoint to go through, and then they'll have like a machine that and then you have to walk through a metal detector at the one I work for anyway. Um, the driving position at my location, because there's so many, you'll be waiting a while. At my location, there's been people that have been waiting 10 years to be able to get a truck driving position. But also UPS pays for the CDL too. At the college I chose, they offer CDL classes for UPS people. Um, and at the Moraine Valley College, um, there's a lot of people that are actually working UPS and they're taking classes to advance their career. And as long as UPS pays for it, why not? Why not take advantage? Same thing with them paying you an extra money on top of your paycheck for UPS. I gotta call the card number that the lady gave me and seeing if I have any money on it yet. I don't know if I do. Um, but they're supposed to pay me like an extra $300 a month for as long as I maintain my C average. So as long as you maintain a C average in all your classes, then UPS will pay you 300 to 400, I think, extra on top of your pay from UPS every week. So UPS, because UPS pays me every Thursday, and then I'll get like a one-time payment every month from the for the grant fund for UPS, as long as I maintain the C average in my classes. But the teacher actually liked on Thursday that I actually was getting the hang of everything, even though I missed my first day of class because I didn't know like the class I was supposed to be in. Um, but like the books cannot be sold back to the school. Those books are always brand new. But you could sell them to family members or friends if they ever decide they want to go to college for that same thing. But every year they come out with new books and everything like that. So it's like, but it's like $35 a book, which is a lot of money just to bring that up. The lady tried to sell me two, and but the teacher did tell me that yes, I'm gonna need the second book, but I didn't need both of them at the same time, especially when my pay is kind of limited and tight right now. So he basically said that you'll need the second book eventually within the next month or so. But he says right now to start with that one, then within the next month or so, if you can get enough money saved, go buy that book to buy the second one. But I do have a test on Tuesday, so I got to study that book tomorrow and Sunday and try to do the testing. We also have our own email with the school where we can check what the teacher sends us. I just haven't bothered to look to see what he sent me, if anything. Well, it depends. That depends on if you. So I don't know, like, with all the other states, like how many locations are closing and how quickly and how far you want to drive to go to one, or if you want to move. Yeah, it's good as long as you're doing it part time right now. It like I'm also still looking for a second job too on the weekends to make a little extra money. But but as long as you're doing part time, your paychecks if you so like let's say with me being part time, as long as if I do 25 hours, then I'm cutting in around 450 every week. That's about average. I don't know, give or take. I'm not gonna estimate like how accurate it always is, because sometimes UPS will fuck up on the hours a little bit, just because sometimes they shorten your hours because they forget to add on the break time. It's like 400. It's like 450 after taxes. Um, that's about what I bring in if I do 25 hours. Now, if I do 21 hours, then you're looking at a little about 320. Um, it's because at my location I make 21 an hour. Um, but if I get over 5 hours in a day, which hardly ever happens, but once in a blue moon, you'll get a shift where you'll get more than 5 hours, and anything over 5 hours for a part-time worker is time and a half, and then it becomes 31.50 an hour. Um, but if you come in like on a holiday, or like you come in on a Sunday to work, then it becomes 42 an hour. I think Martin Luther King Day that I worked was double time. That was 42 an hour. Same thing with Black Friday. UPS is only closed 4 days out of the year. That's basically UPS is only closed like 4 days out of the year. They're closed on Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Or no, five. They're closed. Okay, so they're closed 5 days out of the year. They're closed on Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's, and New Year's Day. Like New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Those are like the 5 days I think that they're closed throughout the year. You still get paid for them. Um, there's like eight holidays in the book that tells you like what days you get paid for. I have to look at that up the next time too. And then I think the next holiday, see, I don't think Easter's included, but we do have Memorial Day. That will be the next one I think in May, and we'll get double time for that if we work it. Um, and also for the people that love to smoke weed, Easter, Easter this year is on 420. Um, so that's a great day to actually get high and blaze up. And who knew that that Easter would be that would land, and who knew that Easter would land on 420 this year? Where is my movie at? There's a movie I'm looking for, and I know I have it. God, I love smoking weed. But UPS doesn't really care if you smoke weed as long as you don't injure yourself on the job. Oh, here we go. I knew I had it. One of my favorite stoner films. That's one of my favorite stoner films, along with Harold and Kumar and the other one, Half Baked. I never saw the second movie of How High, but I prefer the first one. God, now I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember that rap guy that always used to smoke weed. Um, and he would always smoke weed sitting on stage or something like that. Yeah. So, but eventually it's like I don't mind that Easter's landing on 420 because take all the time in the world to get stoned because that's the greatest day to get stoned. Nothing like getting stoned on an Easter Sunday, and nothing like getting stoned on a day that you're supposed to be in church. Um, Also, I don't know for the people. I don't know how often you guys watch my channel, but I am baptized. I am a brother of a church. I actually have my certificate to prove that. Um, even though I do have a dirty and one sick mind. But either way, there is my baptism certificate to show that I've been baptized. This is from the Christian Revival Center that I used to go to in Maryville. I stopped going because I moved, and with me moving, there's no way for me to get to the church, especially when I don't have a license. But that certificate shows that I'm baptized, and I think I can go to any church around this area. There's like 3 of them. I also like the idea that I'm near the woods too, so like if I ever want to go out on a certain day, like the weekend, take a little study. There's like an actual picnic area right up the lake, right? Because I live right up to Des Plaines River. So basically it's a short walk, like 30 minutes at most. They have a long. Des Plaines River is so big and so long that it goes pretty far. It cuts into Joliet, Willow Springs, Justice, all that shit. So it's like it goes for miles. You could do fishing on that. You could do fishing in the lake. Now you cannot swim in it because I don't. Other than Lake Michigan, you could swim in Lake Michigan, but I don't think you could swim in Des Plaines River. At least I've never seen anybody swim in it. But I've seen people boating and fishing in that particular lake. You do get a lot of turtles in that lake along with fish. But I'll let you guys go because I gotta take care of a couple things. I want to get something to eat. I didn't eat anything today except for having a cup of coffee. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And we're gonna try to push for 500 plus subscribers by the end of this year, because that helps with monetization and everything else. So hopefully these live streams will help out a little bit. Um, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure that, but if you like if you like content like this, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel RVW King, and I'll be back next week with more updates about stuff going on with UPS. Also, if you missed a live stream, you can still comment and everything like that once I post it. You can leave a comment, let me know what you guys are thinking and what other content you want me to bring up. I will try to help out as much as I can with everything I know. I'm not saying I'm an expert at UPS, but I will give you as much content as I can about UPS, about what the ins and outs are going on. But make sure to hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you want to support my work even further, I do have a Patreon link that will help out with donations and everything else like that to keep this channel going. And I hope you guys enjoyed.